What's up, guys? This is Majestice, and today we're going to be going over a YCS that just happened in Tokyo. I mean, I'm one day late, I guess you can say. And also a big regional that qualifies you for Worlds, or maybe it qualifies you for the event that qualifies you for Worlds in China. There you go. So yeah, we still don't know who is exactly going to Worlds, but whatever. So this is basically new news because this was posted today, unless you're watching this like in 2029, in which case, sorry if you're a couple of years late. But yeah, before we go any further, you already know the drill. Smash the like and subscribe button. And also check out my Crystron and Blue Eye spreadsheet. They are in my website, yacineygo.com. First link at the very top of the description box below. Okay, so this YCS, it's actually funny how nobody really talked about this, but it had 5,000 players, which is not too bad. I mean, it's not like a record for the OCG because they do have the Guinness World Record for the biggest card game tournament of all time, which actually happened in 2024 in, was it Tokyo or Osaka? I'm pretty sure it was Tokyo. Yeah, almost 8,000 players. So yeah, 5,000 players is not bad. It's more than any, you know, event that we've ever had in the TCG. I think the record was Long Beach at like 42 or something 100 players. I forgot because I wasn't actually there, but yeah. So this is pretty cool. And obviously, this is a best out of one format, which is very stupid because there's a lot of sacking. And since it's a best out of one, you already know what kind of bullshit deck you're going to find in this kind of event, because Tenpai Dragon doesn't really exist in best out of 3. I mean, it does, obviously, it's still a good deck, but you're not going to see 20.3% Tenpai Dragon in a best out of 3, but you're most definitely going to see it in a best out of 1 where you lost the dice roll, that's completely fine. Go second. Yeah, board breaker, normal 7-1 monster attack, and then you're dead. It's a really stupid, cheesy deck, but this is definitely a very good deck in a kind of format like this. But yeah, Dragon Tail is actually back to being the #1 best deck. I mean, I don't even know if I can say it's back to being the #1, because in the last OCG metagame breakdown report, Malice was like just a little better than Dragon Tail, just not even that by that much. But now when we're looking at this pie chart, Dragon Tail is actually doing a lot better than Malice. Yeah, 1.5 times better, basically, which is kind of interesting. I don't even know how that happened, but this deck plays a huge amount of hand traps. But yeah, Malice, obviously second best deck. This is always going to be at the very top of the food chain, because I mean, it's just very oppressive, and you can't even side Lancia against them since there is no side deck. So this deck is almost perfect. you need like the generic hand traps to beat them. Very stupid. But also this deck is not great going second, which is the reason why it's not performing as well as, you know, Dragon Tail and the other decks. Tenpai Dragon is the going second deck. And very shocking to only see 3 of the Sky Striker builds, because I don't even feel like the regular Tenpai Dragon deck is that great, but whatever. Yummy, of course. And then only 2 K9. Sorry, that's really not too much. And also no K9 Crystron on there. Maybe nobody played it. Sometimes it actually does depend on the region, because not everybody, not every country is gonna have like the exact same decks that they play. You know, like sometimes like the China, Japan, they really don't play the same things at all. And then yeah, whatever. Primat Blue Eye is not really represented in top 64. 1 Mermail, 1 Despia, 1 Gem Knight. Whatever the hell this is. This makes no sense, but it's actually so cool. I mean, when you think about it, every engine here kind of synergizes with each other. And then 1 White Forest. Alright, cool. The deck that basically, if it wins the dice roll, you get FTK'd by it. So obviously, we're going to be looking at least 1 White Forest in top 64. Okay, so the event was won with by Tenpai Dragon, of course. And it's actually really funny how first and second were both Tenpai. So yeah, regardless of, I mean, what happens, Tenpai is winning because Tenpai won the dice roll and forced Tenpai to go first. And Tenpai is very bad going first. So if Tenpai goes second against Tenpai, Tenpai is most likely beating Tenpai, if you understand what I'm trying to say. Majestice, Dragon Tail, yummy, blah blah blah. Okay, it's actually interesting also that the Dragon Tail deck here is Majestice, because this is a pretty explosive combo deck, and hopefully we have the deck list for it. Anyways, Tenpai Dragon, Sky Striker, no, sorry, Board Breaker, not Sky Striker. A lot of Board Breakers. No Goldion Schneider is very interesting, because I feel like this has been a pretty popular staple in Tenpai Dragon for the longest time, and we're not seeing it. Goldion Schneider, in case you didn't know, it's the new board breaker from Alliance Insight, where you can banish a bunch of cards from your hand or extra deck, and then bounce back face-up cards your opponent controls. Your opponent cannot negate Goldion Schneider, but he can respond. So it's not like super perfect, and it does target, and you have to use it at the very start of your main phase 1. It's unfortunate that it's a brand new board breaker that nobody has to play, because the old board breakers are good enough. You know, Ultimate Slayer, Lightning Storm, Droplet, Super Poly, a lot of Super Poly targets as well, a lot of Ultimate Slayer targets. That's really cool. We're looking at Mysterion the Dragon Crown, which is now a viable Super Poly target because it needs a Spellcaster and a Dragon. And obviously Dragon Tail is just a bunch of Spellcasters and Dragons, so it does make sense that Super Poly is good against Dragon Tail, which is the #1 best deck. So Tenpai Dragon could very well be the perfect meta call in the K9 Dragon Tail Yummy format. And obviously, this deck still has the ability to play several hand traps, so the one Magna Mode, which is not really a hand trap, it's more like an engine card because it searches like your engine. The one of Shifter, obviously, if you can play Shifter, you gotta play Shifter. And then a bunch of Maxis, and then Ash, and Impulse, and Imperm. So yeah, very clean lineup of a hand traps. I like how he's not playing the unnecessary fluff, like Veiler, Ogre, Bell. You don't need those cards. You might as well just play good board breakers instead. Board breakers that are very good against half boards. And I think that this is just perfect. This is really clean. Might want to consider playing a Feather Duster since you're playing Lightning Storm, but I mean, it doesn't really change too much. Maybe I would have done like one Duster instead of the second Lightning Storm. Honestly, at the end of the day, it changes absolutely nothing, so whatever. And then, yeah, Red Reboot, yeah, they also have that. That's ridiculous. Oh my god. They really shouldn't. This deck list loses so hard to Kashtira Unicorn. Kind of. Depends. Because there's only one level 7 and one level 10, so yeah, you Unicorn the level 7, the game kind of, it's kind of done so. But yeah, and there's also no Link OTK. No Raging Phoenix Zelantis plays, so yeah, if you can't really OTK with your Synchro line, then you're not doing too much. But yeah, it's a really cool deck list, of course, so shoutouts to this guy for winning the YCS, Miyazawa Fukusuke. This is another interesting version of Tenpai Dragon, so this is the guy who got second. Main decking 3 copies of Salesban. A pretty solid card going second, but I mean, you're now trying to draw multiple copies, so I don't know. There's a lot of other options that you could go into as well. There's no Impermanent here. There is the one Feather Duster, Super Poly Stale with the exact same targets from what I can see, 5 cards. Yeah, exactly. The same 4 targets, which is very interesting. I wonder how... Super Poly, I know for a fact, is broken against Yummy because they're all Light Beast monsters, so you can always go into Garura. And then obviously against Dragon Tail, there's Mysterion. So Super Poly, it might actually be its format. I can't believe I'm saying this, but if your extra deck space is very loose, this might be your best friend. But it's very bad against Malice. Like, it's actually terrible because they're just gonna White Binder, like, banish all the monsters that you Super Poly'd away. They all come back. Man, they basically have a Soul Charge on your turn. That's so stupid. Anyways, Majestice Dragon Tail. This is one of the more interesting decks that we've got to look into so far. Sorry. So this deck actually has some insanely broken combos going first. I have been told by someone who commented on one of my videos that there is a combo where you can go into like Heretic Seal, Savage, and then, you know, all the fusions and stuff like that with like a 1.5 card combo or something, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. And I've been saying this for the longest time, but the Majestice engine is insanity, like really, really, really broken. And it's also very interesting to see the other cards like Invoke Caliga. Hold on, is it even Invoke Caliga? I don't even know, but how are you going into this? It might not even be, but I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, it is. You need Alistair the Invoker and a Dark Monster. So I have no idea how you're even summoning this card, because there's no King of the Swamp, so you can't really substitute it for anything. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's true. Yeah, this card is always treated as Alistair the Invoker. Keep forgetting the small little detail. Yeah, Crowley the Gifted of Majestice. It's like, I look at him, he's like, yeah, I'm like, yeah, okay, he's dressed as Alistair, but I know for a fact that it's not Alistair. And it's not even that he's always treated as Alistair, right? If this face-up card is used as a fusion material, its name can be treated as Alistair the Invoker. And obviously Invoke Liga is one of the more broken monsters that you can summon because it's kind of like an El Shaddai Winda to some degree, in a way, kind of. Yeah, very minimalistic on the spells and traps, only 6 spells, 2 traps, because you want as many monsters, so you can always use them as fusion materials, so Imperm will pretty much never be a staple in this deck. It might be a tech card at most, but it's not going to be a card that you have to play. And we're basically looking at almost, you know, 16 whatever hand traps, so 3 Nib, 3 Fua, 3 Ash, the 1 Ghost Bell, which is very good against Yummy when they try to tag out their Synchros to revive back 2 monsters, and it's very good against Malice as well, to negate the GWC or the White Binder, as well as 2 Maxi and 2 Veilers, so yeah, 3, 6, 9, 10, 12, 14, it's not too bad. The deck is naturally good going second. It's not very normal summon dependent. You have a few extenders that are just very good into boards. The spell card that fuses, I don't even know what's wrong with my voice. I'm actually really sorry. It's not like I'm actually trying to be stupid on purpose. But yeah, the normal spell is basically like a Shadow Fusion or something, in a way, kind of. I mean, yeah, it's a Shadow Fusion at home. Like, use the one material from the deck, the other one from your hand. But yeah, cool deck, and I really should look into Majestice Dragontail eventually. Yummy K9 with one Sangan so they can search the Max C. I do not believe that Sangan is searchable in this deck list because, I mean, it's basically a card that you have to sack. It's a one-of, so, I mean, you can look into playing 3 Sangan or, you know, Sangan and Tour Guide, which I think is actually really bad, but nobody's realistically gonna ever Veiler or Imperm a Tour Guide. So maybe it's actually not too bad. I don't know. I have no idea. And also, it gets you another body on... I don't know, maybe. But nobody's playing the Sky Striker engine in this deck because, I mean, it's not... hold on a second. What was it again? Is it that it's bad against, like, Max C or something? I forgot, but someone gave me, like, a very good reasoning for why the Sky Striker engine is not, like, fantastic. Oh, yeah, it's because Hornet Jones plays insanely poorly into Max C. You give, like, 2 draws just so that you can recycle back your Hornet, which is, like, not good. So by the time you can Synchro Summon, you're basically giving, like, 4 draws to your opponent. Yeah, which is basically shit, so you might as well just play another engine. And yeah, K9 plays a lot into during the opponent's turn. So these cards are basically like hand traps. I mean, Izuna is, Lupus is kind of like a brick. So this is very reminiscent to like the Rescue Ace package and like Gizmek Uka and stuff like that people used to tag back in the days. But yeah, pretty cool deck list. Rigo's Bell, very interesting with Dominus Purge and stuff like that. That's nice. Dragontail, pure Dragontail, so no Majestice stuff. Man, I really hate the fact that people are playing multiple copies of the green and 3 of the fire. Like, bro, this should be a 1-of at most, and this should be, like, maybe a 2-of. I actually play 0 green and 1 fire, so it's actually insane how everybody's playing so many copies of this. I want to see the Majestice build. Yeah, okay, Majestice is only playing 1 green and 3 fire, because, bro, you're not trying to play freaking 3 and 3, definitely. Like, these cards literally do nothing in the hand. Like, actually nothing. And if you can't fusion summon, your deck actually sucks. So, one easy way to beat Dragontail is, you know, the side deck cards for this deck are actually unfair. Like, if you have non-fusion area or D-barrier, the game is kind of just over. You actually just win the game on the spot. They really cannot... It's not even like they can side, you know, Duster, Lightning Storm easily. I mean, in this format, obviously they can't, but... You know, Labyrinth could be actually very good in this kind of format where D-barrier is insane against Dragontail, Yummy, and K9, and you can easily search out D-barrier, so I don't even know why there is no Labyrinth in a best out of 1 top 64. That makes no sense. I feel like Labyrinth should have been good enough to compete, but whatever, maybe that's just me. Malice, nothing interesting here, I don't care. Mermail, okay, sure, I mean, there's the 1-of Ice Jade Ran Adrian. I don't really know exactly how you're searching this. Maybe it is searchable off of Abyss Shrine. I'm not sure. But yeah, no, that's a pretty cool deck. I mean, yeah, there's no tool, but they have Bahamut. So that's much better than a Snow Dust Giant in the TCG, which is super cope. That's the only way you can detach the Atlantean Dragoons to like trigger it and get an extra search. But it's actually like a dog shit card. Like Snow Dust Giant basically does nothing. Whereas for them, they still have Bahamut to detach the Dragoons to get a search. And then they're summoning the rank 3 that technically would search the trap card, but nobody plays this because it's a brick. So it's still kind of decent because I think you can recycle back like an Aqua from the grave or something. I actually forgot. I don't really care. I really don't care actually. But yeah, 2 of the monsters that's usually played as a 1-of, very interesting. The rest I don't care at all. Okay, so this is the White Forest deck. Yo, only 1 White Forest and it got top 16. Very impressive. I am looking at no copies of Stellar and only 1 Azamina LZ. Okay, so there are 2 things I should say here. First of all, in the TCG, I think a Stellar is a must. And the reason for that is because Molchimi Perulia and Droll and Logbird are very popular in the TCG, whereas they are not in the OCG. Nobody's playing Droll, as you can see. I mean, Malice is an exception because it wants to Droll itself when it gets Chummied or Maxied, because it doesn't really lose to Droll, so that makes sense. But the other decks don't. So, in a world where White Forest has to, you know, think about losing to Droll and Perulia, it has to play differently because now when you have the field spell, or like terraforming to the field spell, if you're under like Perulia, you're definitely not searching LZ or Sylvie, because that plays super hard into Perulia. You're searching a Stellar, so that when you go normal summon a Stellar, you're only giving your opponent 1 draw, and then you go Stellar, summon the Sylvie, search whatever, spell or trap, and then you make the Arciela, and then you play from there, and you should actually be able to almost do full combo with only giving 1 draw to your opponent, because at no point should you ever search for this Diabel White Forest monster, or the LZ, or the Arciela, or Rusia rather. No, you shouldn't. You should actually just play with your Stellar and what it can give you without having to search any of your monsters. So you're really just stocking up on your Woes and your Sinful Spells of the White Forest, which I think is good enough for a half board that only gives 1 draw to Perulia, because Perulia is looking like this deck's biggest kryptonite. I am not gonna lie. And Furos is insanely rough as well, but the new support from Alliance Insight helps significantly because now if you're not trying to special summon from the deck or extra deck, well, at the very least, you can still search the Diabell of the White Forest, whatever. I don't even know the name, but I know exactly what the cards do. And then you pitch a spell or trap, you send your Diabell trap or whatever, which searches this Diabell spell, and then this searches the Sin Agitator, whatever, which summons itself, and then you're basically giving no draws to your opponent because you're just summoning a bunch from the hand. And this is a very good half board as it is, because you can destroy like any card by paying half your life points with this, and then you summon an illusion or spellcaster synchro monster from your extra deck, so you can go into the level 4, or you can go into like Diabell, which can summon the Silvera to Book of Eclipse everything. Very good interruption against so many decks, so honestly I think this deck is very well positioned in the OCG, and I think it might actually just be just as good in the TCG, if not maybe better because there's no Maxi. But then again, there is Droll and Pearlia, which are extremely scary for this deck. This deck list is solid, but there are a couple of things I'm just a little unsure about. So the 3 things are the Foolish Burial Goods. I think instead of playing Foolish Burial Goods, I would just play like an extra copy of Black Goat Laughs, but maybe that's just me. Because you should pretty much always have a card that could be able to discard it, so I don't know. And also the Ophilatus or something, again, the name changed, so I have no idea. Yeah, this card, I'm not sure. It's not trash, but I don't know. And then the no, sorry, not this. What was I looking at? There's another card that I was just like a little skeptical. Hold on, Duster. Oh yeah, Duster, huh? Yeah, the Duster is kind of sus. But apart from that, I mean, yeah, it's fine. It's a good deck list, so I like it. Malice, whatever, don't care. Yummy with Pancratops main deck. Holy crap, whoa. Yeah, you don't see this every day. Main decking Pancratops. Yeah, I guess this only because it's the best out of 1 format. Engage is a 3, and this guy's only playing 2. Very interesting as well. Okay, cool. And also, no Widow Anchor, no nothing. It's really just 2 engage, one Hornet Wounds. That's it. Very interesting. Okay, cool. Maybe that can work. I'm not sure. Malice with no Drill and Logbird. Very interesting. A lot of hand shafts. Oh, Sky Striker Tenpai Dragon. Okay, so I mean, yeah, this is very similar to like what the TCG saw. There's no, yeah, okay, no, yeah, you don't need it. Yeah, okay, so Hita, that's good enough. Searches Geniroku. Okay, cool. Yeah, this deck is so consistent, man. Jesus, you can see none of the Tenpai Dragon cards and still kill your opponent because you have so many ways of getting access to Hornet, and Hornet is unfair. It's so convenient how you go into Kagari to recycle back the token. Well, I mean the Hornet that gives you the token. You go into Hita, you crash, and then you just destroy your opponent with Genroku. It's still battle phase, so yeah, just all those shenanigans are broken. It's very easy to OTK your opponent. Into the Void is basically just another upstart that fuels your graveyard for engage to draw. And then, yeah, you can get it to Widow Anchor, after burners, etc. Yeah, Ultimate Slayer as well, Forbidden Droplet. This deck is never losing going second, and it's the best out of 1. So if you don't know that your opponent is on this, it's going to be rough for you. Very, very rough. And the extra deck space, I mean, it's pretty clean as well. All the targets for Ultimate Slayer are there. There's no Super Poly in there, so maybe that could have been a consideration instead of, you know, the Koi Belt and the Odd Eyes Meteor Burst Dragon. But apart from that, and also the Hieratic Seal, like, are you really trying to make a Hieratic Seal at any moment? You're probably just trying to kill your opponent. But I guess if you're forced to go first, you gotta do what you gotta do, right? Yummy with Nightmare Corruptor Ibli is extremely interesting. I don't really know exactly how you're searching this when there's no Gigantic Sprite or something. There's no way. Hold on a second. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe it is actually searchable. I'm not sure, but if someone can explain to me, I'd really appreciate it because it's a very weird one of. Maybe there has to be like a way to just randomly get access to this card every time, or maybe it's just like, oh, if I draw it, then I can still go normal summon Ibli, make the El Mirage, and then go, you know, give the Ibli to the opponent, summon my Yummy. So it's like a card that you're like, okay, whatever. If I draw it, then it's cool, and if I don't draw it, then whatever. And if I draw multiple, then it's bad, so you might as well just only play it as a one-of. That definitely does make a lot of sense. I don't think, like, he's actually considering playing Ibli as an Ibli lock turbo deck, right? So, yeah, that might be, like, the main thought process behind only playing one copy, and I think it makes sense. The Yummy deck is a deck that really rewards innovation and creativity because all the monsters with 1,000 or less attack, they have a lot of synergy in the deck because they can all be turned into El Mirage, which allows the Yummy monsters to be special summoned from the hand, and then you can start synchro summoning with your Link 1 and your Yummy monster. So I think whether you play Ibli or Sangan or Tour Guide, whatever, doesn't really make too much much of a difference. Everything can make sense. Okay, so this is the tournament that happened in mainland China. You don't say shirt yellow, you say yellow shirt. In Guangzhou, I think that's how you pronounce it, I think. Whatever. A lot of really interesting decks as well. Bro, people have been very creative ever since we got, you know, Yummy, Dragon Tail, and K9. I'm really liking this. I think this format is actually better than the Raziel Malice and, I was gonna say Ryugi format, rather like that set, you know? Because this new set, I feel like all the decks are very, very good. Like K9 maybe a little less good, but Dragon Tail, insane. And Yummy also insane. And Yummy on paper looks like the best one. So it's actually very interesting to see Dragon Tail being the most represented in the YCS as well as in the last OCG metagame breakdown report, which covered, I mean, 3 countries, which is not nothing, you know? But yeah, whatever, let's check this one out. So yeah, Fiendsmith Yummy, very interesting, and the TCG, this deck is probably going to be better because for some reason the Fiendsmith engine, it just keeps existing. I don't know how that's possible, but yeah, pretty clean. I mean, yeah, 1 Engraver, 1 Lacrima, 1 Luri, as well as 1 One-Track. It's really unfortunate to see because it means that, you know, there's pretty much no incentive to playing like Fiendsmith in Paradise and stuff like that. We are not looking at DS Irae, but rather Lacrima as the only fusion monster. And also there is Lacrima, but there is no Caesar. So maybe you're really just trying to get bodies on the field. Not even trying to climb into an Appaloosa, which is also extremely interesting. So honestly, I have no idea what the Fiendsmith engine is even trying to achieve in here. And also the Synchro monsters, only 1 copy of each. That's crazy. The Fiendsmith engine, it takes up so much space in the extra deck that it makes everything super tight. So I could actually see Kashtira Unicorn just being Exodia against this deck if everybody starts playing 1 copy only. Because this deck, the monsters don't really have high attack. So if you can get rid of the field spell that boosts the attack of your monsters and get rid of the Synchro monsters that are annoying, any sub-engine that it plays will never be enough. And you can have a lot of gas cards, like Obedient School, all the extenders in the world. If you have no win conditions, if you can't push for a lot of damage and stuff, your deck still sucks. Okay, the side deck actually, oh yeah, that's true, yeah, this is a real tournament. There you go, because this actually qualifies you to the thing that qualifies you for Worlds. I think, yeah, top 4 players are invited to the China Mainland World Championship qualifier. It's actually really stupid how in the TCG, regionals are considered World Championship qualifiers, because it's actually not true at all, right? They're not WCQs. They qualify you for the NA WCQ or the European WCQ or whatever, the Oceanics, which then those events would qualify you for Worlds, but not the regionals themselves. So that's the reason why every time I look at these kinds of events, I'm so freaking confused. What are they? But yeah, obviously they're real tournaments, so yeah, best out of 3. Lancia still going in strong in people's side decks. Yummy again in 2nd or 3rd or 4th place. Actually, it doesn't matter which position it is because top 4 is invited to the big tournament anyway. So yeah, who cares? Retelling C in the side deck is very interesting. It's broken against Dragon Tail, and obviously it's collateral damage for decks like Memento. And I think it has a little bit more overlap. So yeah, that's the reason why Memento is basically just disappearing from the surface of the Earth. If we're looking at this breakdown report, there's only 2 Memento out of 167 top performing decks. So yeah, Memento is not going to be a good long-term investment. I am sorry, guys. You will be suffering the wrath of Retelling C being good against Dragon Tail. Anyways, speaking of Dragon Tail, this deck is very spicy. Again, I keep saying this, but it's a dragon deck, so obviously it makes sense to play with other dragon decks. And there's 2 barrels and a Blue Eyes White Dragon here. My god. Oh, represent. It's actually not even a Blue Eyes deck, but you look at a Blue Eyes White Dragon, you're like, obviously it's Blue Eyes, right? But it's not. This normal monster could have been like anything, technically, at this point. But might as well just make the Link one actually do something and be able to revive back Blue Eyes. So might as well play Blue Eyes. But I think, maybe, and I said maybe, I'm not like, I don't feel really strongly about this. Maybe this could have been the level 4 or level 7 light dragon monster. Just so that if you have Magnamut or this level 3 monster, you can make Chaos Angel. Maybe, that's just a consideration, I'm not sure. Because Blue Eyes White Dragon, the only reason to play this over anything else is for that Link 1 to do something. But that's about it. So other than that, it doesn't really do much of anything. Because again, this is not a Blue Eyes deck. It's really just an actual Primate deck that plays, a Dragon Tail deck that plays a Primate engine. I am kind of scared for this deck's consistency level because we're playing a lot of cards that aren't monsters, like Lure Lilo. I mean, it gets you to monsters, but it's not a monster in your hand. And with Dragon Tail, you actually want the fusion materials to come from the hand, a little less from the field, unfortunately. So that might be a little bit of a problem. Apart from that, I mean, it's a really cool deck. It looks really creative. I actually love how there's also like a K9 engine in it. I would love to see the day where we could look at like a Dragon Tail Yummy K9 deck. maybe one day that could exist. And yeah, that's crazy. That's kind of like playing Raziel Malice. Raziel Malice Ryugi. Oh my god, that's like a next level stupidity. It would make zero sense, but yeah. Right, my blue eyes, nothing very interesting here. Crimson Dragon and Cosmic Blazar, okay. With the, what's his face looking as? Ancient Fairy Life Dragon. Really cool card. No Snake Eyes Execute Dragon. Unfortunately, I think that card is really cool. So that would be the inclusion that, I mean, the card that I would add into the deck. Only one copy of Tyrant Dragon, so we already know how this player, you know, looks at the turn 1 approach, because if you only play one Tyrant, then you can't equip the Neo Blue Eyes on turn 1. You have to, like, not do it, and then on turn 3, when you try to follow up whatever, then you equip, and then you make the Tyrant, and then you attack everything, reset back a Dominus Purge, an Imperm, or a Majesty, and then you can just win the game. So that's really nice. And then Solemn Warning, what the frick? Solemn Warning in the side? What? Yo, are we back in like 2012 before Jesus? Like, what is going on? Like, this card, I have not seen this card for so many years, just because Solemn Strike is like infinitely better, so Solemn Warning is what? Okay, anyways, Yummy Sky Striker. So again, 2 Engage and 1 Hornet. Exactly the same thing as... I'm in the wrong thing. As this guy. Hold on, if I can find him. Yeah, there we go. 2 Engage, 1 Hornet, no Widow Anchor, no nothing. Which is funny, because when you look at Tenpai Dragon, they play 3 Engage, 2 Widow, an Afterburner, and a Hornet Jones. But here, the engine is minimalistic, despite the fact that they can easily play triple Engage if they wanted to, but they purposely choose not to. And yeah, Herald of Arclight is such a cool card. You can even, like, normal summon a Hat Shop, and then make Herald of Arclight, and then, you know, Yummy combo from there. It's not viable. It's not something that people are going to be doing, but it can happen, in theory. And again, Retelling Sea on the side deck. You gotta look into that card. It's broken. It will become, like, everywhere eventually. And yeah, this is a very interesting Malice side deck. Yeah, because they're spellbound. But I mean, everything else is like whatever, right? 1 Thrust and 1 DDG, bro. Yeah, let's play 1 normal trap card that can be searched off of Thrust, but only play 1 Thrust to search it. I hate this. You might as well just not do the Thrust, you know, thing at this point and just play 2 DDG. Might as well. Might as well. There's pretty much like nothing else that's worth doing at this point. Maybe I understand for like the siding patterns. Obviously, I'm not going to talk too much crap. It does kind of make sense. Honestly, I talk a lot of smack, but sometimes I actually do like things that are basically the exact same. So it's just that bullying the OCG mentality is just always funny, right? Like this, for example, is like a TCG style side deck. And then, yeah, this is, I mean, the Solemn Warning is almost laughable, but whatever. Deadass, please just play Solemn Strike instead. I'm begging you. But I mean, I understand. Like, you can negate like the spell cards that fuse in Dragon Tail. You can negate Obedience Schooled, but it's so bad. It's just not good. It's like, I can think of like so many cards that are better than Solemn Warning. And even Solemn Judgment is shaky. It's just that at least it negates like generic spells and traps, so that one makes more sense. But yeah. Oh, I just realized, Ghost Reaper in the side deck here for Yummy. Oh, in the Yummy mirror? This card is broken. Absolutely correct. And also you can... Wow, yeah, you can Reaper Haggard Lizardos. Yeah, I mean, that's not good at all, because then they're just gonna SP themselves and play anyways. So yeah, I think Reaper against Malice is like very big cope, and also it banishes the card face up, so Cryptor can just recycle it back into the extra deck if it's you banish like a Malice Link monster. So in other words, it's really stupid. But yeah, you guys, I mean, oh, by the way, again, more Pancratops. In the Yummy mirror, it's broken. You guys let me know how you feel about the OCG right now, and also all these interesting deck lists, because I think the TCG is gonna follow suit and play something at least somewhat similar to like what we're seeing. But yeah, you guys let me know in the comment section below. I'll see you guys very soon. Thank you for watching. Peace.